When wife to presidential hopeful Bernie Sanders visited Tent City, she expected just to view it from behind the gates. But Sheriff Joe Arpaio had a different plan.
Reporter Julia Thatcher sat down with the controversial lawman to discuss the backlash he's received from bringing her inside.
It was very interesting. That day, when asked if she wanted a tour of Tent City, she said yes and seemed to have no reservations about it. But later, her husband, Bernie Sanders, expressed his displeasure, accusing the sheriff of, quote, crashing her meeting.
Whether you support it or not, most in America have heard of Tent City. Jane Sanders visited the compound and used the backdrop to bring light to her concerns on immigration.
What we have to have is a comprehensive immigration reform with a path towards citizenship, and we need to do that yesterday.
When she went to see Tent City, she didn't expect to go inside.
Had I known he was here, I probably would have asked to meet with him.
But Sheriff Joe Arpaio wanted to take her in and show her what it's all about, so he did.
She talked to all the inmates, got their side of the story. She's complaining about 130 degrees. Like I told her, our men and women are fighting for our country, living in tents. So I'm not concerned about convicted criminals living in the tents.
And that's when the controversial sheriff found himself a mudslinging target of a presidential candidate, but probably not the one you'd expect.
The fact that he crashed her meeting is, to me, very, very wrong. Not something that he should have done.
Arizona, Sheriff Arpaio, and Tent City are often stops on the campaign trail, but looking back, the sheriff told me this one was different than most.
And it said the people I treat don't have the power to speak out. And then he says, if I'm the President of the United States, I will have the power. And then the veiled threat, watch out, Joe. So what is he doing? Threatening me?
Little, if anything, seemed threatening during Jane Sanders' visit, who had the chance to speak with inmates to get their take on the controversial jail.
I mean, it's all right. It's cool that they got the phones on most of the time, so you can call whenever. You get to work, so the time goes a little bit faster, you know?
While some clearly disagree with the living conditions inmates endure while in the facility, the sheriff says he has no plan to change what he says has worked for the past 22 years.
While there, Sheriff Arpaio encouraged Jane Sanders to walk around and talk to anyone she wanted. He said he had nothing to hide. In Phoenix, Julia Thatcher, Cronkite News.